The topic here today is a question which came up many years ago, like 50 years ago. In Eretz Yisrael, there was a big question of what do you eat on Erev Pesach? Should you eat? They had it in the army that they had to serve something for breakfast. So they didn't know, should they serve them, what could you eat on the morning of Pesach? Here, on the morning of Pesach, or in the, there are more copies? Or in the afternoon, what are you allowed to eat before the Seder, anytime after the 9th hour, the 10th hour? So they had a big question, what to serve in the army. So we have to look up to the whole, there's two ideas that we have to go into today. So first is the Mishnah. The Mishnah is in the 10th parak of Pesachim. I copied it here on the top right-hand corner. The Mishnah states, it's in the Yerushalmi and in the Bavli, but it's the same Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Erev Pesachim, on Erev Pesach, Samuch leMincha, right before Mincha, Lo yoichal ad shetechshach. That's the first words of the Mishnah. You shouldn't eat Erev Pesach before it gets dark. So that's the Mishnah, which means close to Mincha. Samuch leMincha means by the 10th hour, Shah Siris, that we know every Friday there's a special halacha that one shouldn't start a meal after the 10th hour of the day, which is around, let's say, 3 o'clock. It depends on the length of the day. But the idea is that a person shouldn't eat a meal, wash, or have a lot of food before Shabbos, because if you eat too much before Shabbos, you won't be hungry for the Shabbos meal. So therefore, there's a special halacha that people should be careful of, and try not to start a meal after that Shah Siris, after that 10th hour, around 3 o'clock every Friday. So here the Mishnah Pesachim gives you, again, it says, Erev Pesachim Samuch leMincha Lo yochal adam ad shetechshach. You shouldn't eat until it gets dark. Ad shetechshach, because obviously when it gets dark, that's when the mitzvah starts. Right? The mitzvah of Korban Pesach, the mitzvah of Matzah, and all of the halachas are hekish. They're all compared one to another, and therefore all the mitzvahs start at night. That's why we're careful not to make kiddush till night. Okay.
So we shouldn't eat, or we shouldn't start a meal?
Either. When? At the 9th hour? At the 10th hour? Yeah, you shouldn't start a meal. You shouldn't start an official meal with bread. Now, we're going to have to go into details about what type of bread are we talking about, but that's the halacha. There could be certain things we could eat. We're going to see what we could eat. Now, there is a Yerushalmi. This happens to be, so far what we read is the Mishnah in our Gemara, the Bavli and the Yerushalmi. Now, the Yerushalmi says a new halacha. Look at the Gemara there, the next line. It says Gemara, and this is right, the Yerushalmi, second line in the end. Amar Reb, I'm not sure who we're quoting, Amar Rabbi Levi. It's crossed out the word Levi. You could write in the word Levi. Amar Reb Levi, Ha'oichel matzah be'erev Pesach, on the whole Erev Pesach, the day before Pesach, the whole day of Yudalid Nisan, one has to be careful not to eat matzah. Because if anyone eats matzah on Erev Pesach, it's like he was engaged, he was betrothed to someone, and he couldn't wait till the chasana. So the Beis Chavav, in his father-in-law's house, he went and took his betrothed, and he couldn't even wait till the day of the chasana. So it's someone who doesn't have the patience. He doesn't have the patience to wait till the right time. So he grabbed her, and that wasn't. That's habal. It was sasiv beis chamav loika. So he gets lashes. He's halfway betrothed to her. So in one way, he's a little bit designated for her, but he's not really married. So he couldn't wait that last few minutes till he would get married. He had to go to his father-in-law's house to grab her. So that's the comparison. That someone who eats matzah on Erev Pesach, he's compared to such a person. He didn't have the patience to wait till the mitzvah came. The mitzvah comes at night, the night of Pesach. He couldn't wait till that time. He had to take the matzah via Erev Pesach, and therefore the Reb Levi says that one is not allowed to eat matzah on Erev Pesach, which is talking a whole day. This is a whole day, although some people are careful not to eat matzah for already a few days before, for a month, because they want to have the taste of matzah that should be enjoyable. But in terms of that's a minhag that the Mishnah Brewer brings down. You should do that. It's a nice thing to do. But Rabbi Levi says that it's even more stringent on the day before Pesach. Here it's brought down clearly in the Yerushalmi. And this Yerushalmi, everyone brings down that it's forbidden to eat the whole Erev Pesach. Now, the question here is, so let's go back to the first line in the Mishnah.
This is the day the site starts the night before.
So now the truth is, this is an interesting question. When does this start? When does this Isser start of not eating matzah? Does it start just by the day, or does it start even by the night before? So Rabbi Oshreicher is saying that you have to be careful. The Mishnah Berurah brings up that it could even start from the night before, even Thursday night. You should be careful from eating matzah if you go by the day before, the whole day. Okay, so that's the Mishnah Berurah. Now, the question here is, what is the Mishnah saying? Let's go back to the top line in the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, Erev Pesachim, on Erev Pesach, Samach leMincha, right before Mincha, by that 10th hour of the day, 3 o'clock around, Lo yochal adam ad shetefshach. You shouldn't eat before it gets dark. So the big question was raised, what are we talking about? What shouldn't you eat? If it's talking about chametz, it can't be talking about chametz, because chametz is forbidden to have in your possession from noon. From noon, even before, you're not allowed to have hana, but once noon hits, tashpisu, you have to destroy all the chametz. So you can't be chametz. You don't have any chametz in your possession. What is it? Maybe it'll be matzah. Is the Mishnah telling me here, what is the Mishnah telling me? You shouldn't eat something before it gets dark. What should you eat? Maybe it's saying they shouldn't eat matzah once it gets to be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So on that, it's a little bit of a problem. What would be the problem of eating, of the Mishnah telling me that you can't eat matzah 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
I already told you.
Oh, so this gets into the din of Reb Levi. Reb Levi told me in the Yerushalmi that you can't eat a whole day. You can't even eat from the morning matzah. It's like he took his betrothed early, so he can't eat matzah a whole day. So what is the Mishnah coming to tell me they shouldn't eat by mincha time? Erev Pesach. It can't be telling me chametz, it can't be telling me matzah, because matzah I already know is forbidden.
Shouldn't eat anything at all.
Shouldn't eat anything at all. Now, let me ask you something. So, are you ready to do that?
Well,
You're not going to eat anything from 3 o'clock
Yeah, but you only talk
in a
about
Toronto time zone, where it could be the Seder will be start 9 o'clock and
it won't be 3 o'clock then.
Okay, it will be a little later.
Okay, but the other thing is, you're only talking about the full meal.
Oh. So on this, we have to see the Tosfos here, because here already we're touching on the whole Tosfos, and Gabi is already touching on the answer with Dr. Spiegel. So let's see inside number 7. By the way, let's see number 7 here, a little bit down on the right side in the middle of the page. Tosfos tiveh maschal lo yochel. So Tosfos says lo yochel, you shouldn't eat. So he says v'hu adin. One second. Well, I'm going to introduce to you. Tosfos introduces the question. He says, what would you have thought to eat? So he says, it can't be chametz, it can't be matzah. So Tosfos says, in the end of the day, that it's coming, I'll read you inside. Actually, let's see on the top left-hand corner. Let's read the Tosfos from the beginning. I copied it in the left-hand corner. What should he not eat? Eat matzah. Everything you can't eat matzah. You can't eat matzah a whole day. As the Yerushalmi quotes from Reb Levi, that if he can't wait till Pesach night, he's doing a veirus, like taking a arusa before he gets married. So obviously you can't eat matzah a whole day Erev Pesach. So what is the Mishnah telling me? You shouldn't eat matzah on Erev Pesach. Well, you shouldn't eat. What shouldn't you eat? Ibe matzah can't be. Ibe chametz can't be. So Tosfos maybe it means mine targima. Maybe it means fruits. So Gabi said, are you allowed to eat anything? Are you allowed to eat fruits? So on that Tosfos says, Ha'amar v'gemara aval metabel hu b'mine targima. It says that one is allowed to have to dip in a few fruits and eat those after chatzos. So it says that you are allowed to eat fruits. So on that, the question here is, so it can't be fruits either that the Mishnah is saying don't eat, because you could eat a few fruits. So Tosos comes along and says an answer. Let's read Tosos' answer. V'yesh lomar, de'ayri b'matzah ashira. Tosos comes along and tells us that the rule of the Mishnah is really coming to tell me matzah ashira. Matzah ashira means rich matzah. What does it mean, rich matzah? Rich matzah means that it was matzah made with juices, fruit juices. It was matzah made with eggs. And it's a rich matzah means to say that we're supposed to eat lechem oini. We're supposed to eat the poor man's bread. So if it's poor man's bread, so it should be without any of these rich juices. That's why it's called matzah ashira. So it should be without any of these additives. So it should be plain lechem oini. And therefore on that, Tosos says matzah ashira is a new category. There's regular matzah, that's lechem oini, and there's matzah ashira, that's rich man's matzah. And on that we don't use that on the Seder night. That we don't use because that's not lechem oini. So now Tosos says that's what the Mishnah is coming to tell us. The Mishnah is telling me that on matzah ashira, those fruit juices, that type of egg matzah, that's what you can't eat in the afternoon after that 10th hour.
And we're saying that's not chametz.
And that's not chametz. It's not chametz. He made sure that it shouldn't rise. So, but instead of putting the flour with water, he put it together with apple juice or with eggs. So it never rose, so it's not chametz. On the other hand, it's also not matzah that you put into the Yerushalmi, right? The Yerushalmi said you can't eat matzah, but he's saying it has to be a matzah that's a matzah you could do your mitzvah with, that you could do your mitzvah on Pesach. So Tosos therefore explains, we're talking about matzah ashira in the Mishnah. That what did the Yerushalmi say? That anyone who eats matzah on Erev Pesach, it's like he took his betrothed early. That's only talking by matzah which is roi, which is fit to get your mitzvah with that matzah on Pesach by the night. That you shouldn't eat earlier. If a person grabs it and eats it earlier, that's like he took his arusa early. But matzah ashira sharia. But matzah ashira, which we don't use for the Seder night, that one could eat in the afternoon around the 10th hour. And he says that that's how Rabbeinu Tam used to act. He used to actually eat that in order that he shouldn't be too hungry.
It's like egg matzah, is that the thing?
Like an egg matzah. Mm-hmm. Yes, he would eat that.
And then you would wash for another meal.
And he would wash for it, right? He would have to wash for that.
Yeah, okay, the question is what the bracha on matzah shir is.
Okay, so right, you'd have to find out why. What do they say on the...
I don't know. That's the thing.
Okay, you have to find out what
it's not a meal if you don't wash it for it. If you're not going to use bread.
No, so you have to find. I don't know. We have to find out exactly what the proper bracha is. If it's real chav, if it's real bread, would you make hametz lechem and aretz? We have to look into that.
Fruit juices.
Yeah.
It's messinas.
Yeah.
Unless you.
Okay, so we'll have to check up on that. That will have to make a special.
But the other issue, of course, you could pay a suit on it, then you still make hametz.
Right.
But then you're eating 3 kibbayim of the stuff. Or whatever.
Okay, so in Hilchos Brachos, we're going to have to go in to see exactly if you're making a meal out of it, then we'll have to wash, right. And then you'll make hamotzi. Okay, that would be similar to like a pizza, that you wash on.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the halacha that is brought down. Mm-hmm. Now, the interesting thing here in this Tosos is that the big question would be, what about other types of foods, like let's say. A matzah which is made, but it's not made l'shma. We know the first night of Pesach you have to be careful to have matzah which was made l'shma. It has to be made with the right intentions. That means as they make it, they have to say l'shem matzah's mitzvah. They have to make it with special intentions. It's not enough to take, let's say, a matzah that you have a Manischewitz matzah which is just made by the boxes, or even machine matzah. It's a big question because as you make it, you're supposed to have the right intention. Up to the point that's a big question about using even machine matzah for that seder, for your eating the achilas matzah. When you make the bracha al achilas matzah, some say that you can't eat machine matzah for that 2 kezesim, for those 2.
The only matzah Shimon Schwab ate.
What?
Shimon Schwab only ate machine shmur.
So there's differing views.
That's because it's for sure not chametz.
That's right.
There's differing views, and there's a lot of different circumstances which changed over the last 200 years. But I'll tell you one side. One side is that it can't be made by a machine because a machine doesn't have the das, it doesn't have the knowledge to say lishma.
Yeah, but the guy pushing the button does.
But the guy's pushing the button, but he's not making the matzah.
Sure he is.
No, he's not. The machine's making the matzah.
The machine's not making the matzah. The machine doesn't work on its own.
The machine does work on its own. Yes, sure, it has a plug. Sure it does. You're not doing anything. You start it off. You make it go. But who's actually kneading the matzahs? Who's actually mixing it?
You could argue that the oven is baking the matzah. The person is.
Takes the ingredients and puts it in.
He put the ingredients in the machine, but who would you say is baking the matzah?
Why?
Who's baking it?
Yeah, well, you put the matzah in the oven. The fire is baking the matzah, but we don't say that.
But no, all the parts of the that part is right. That part you're cooking. But in terms of kneading it, who's kneading it?
Where are you drawing the line?
Who's mixing it? To every part of the process, from the kneading, from lisha, from kneading and on, has to be done l'shma.
But we say a Jew starts the oven.
No,
right?
but starting the oven that's what we do.
Right.
Just like on Shabbos. How could you be chayav on bishul? How could anyone ever do the cooking on Shabbos? You don't cook it. Do I do the cooking on Shabbos? I just put it on the fire. I walked away. I actually went out of the house. Am I chayav for bishul on Shabbos?
Yes.
Why? I didn't cook it. I cooked it. I made it cook.
Put the pot on the fire.
What? So the answer is that's called cooking. That's what our part of cooking is. That's called making matzah, cooking it l'shma, baking it l'shma.
So the machine is the same.
But in terms of mixing it, the mixing it has to be mixed l'shma.
But in this case, it's already figured out to be like that, exactly to the proper ingredient. That's why they use the machine, because it's more accurate.
It's true. It is exact. It is. We know
But
all the
this is
ingredients.
my
It is
thought.
true. But the
Not
question
a-
is, who's kneading it?
There's different opinions on it.
I'm giving one opinion. Who is kneading it? Who is doing that kneading? Who's doing the mixing? The machine. So could the machine have in mind that he's doing it l'shem matzah's mitzvah?
Your l'shem mitzvah is the person using the machine saying, I figured out that this machine is.
Okay. So you okay?
Well,
Cooking.
it has to be the shmuel, because the bottom line is, when, during the year, how much is that machine used? Is
All
it
the
used
bread
all
you
the
eat.
week? Probably it's not. Probably it's turned, the machine is turned on a month and a half, 2 months before.
Yeah.
So that definitely, by interpretation, that is lishma. In other words, you putting on the machine, you're turning it on because Pesach is coming.
The question is the turning on enough to make the matzah's l'shma? Or the actual mixing
about the oven.
should be done l'shma?
Well, when you do an 18-minute matzah, and they're cleaning out that machine, and they're restarting the machine every 18 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more lishma do you want?
But it's not. But he's not mixing it with his own hands. Lishma. The machine's mixing it. Lishma. You made it go. But okay, well, this is something for
We say if a goy
something to
put a
think
pizza-
about. It's a little food for thought.
If we say a goy put a pizza in the oven,
Yeah.
but the Jew turns on the oven,
Yeah. So I have to see about bishul akum.
all
That's,
that's involved was we had to turn on the oven.
yeah. That's
By
the
the
action.
Ashkenaz.
That's the action that we do. Okay.
Okay, but that's not so fun.
Okay.
For Spartam.
Okay. Listen.
By the Ashkenaz.
I know, but Spartam, you
I
gotta put the pot on the stove.
No, I know that.
Let's just keep that in mind. Or I'll just to stay out of this whole argument, I'll just say that you took a matzah from, it says kosher all year round. It's kosher for Passover. It's kosher for all year round, but it's not made l'shma. You took one off the shelf, right? A month ago, you bought a box of matzahs, but it was made under 18 minutes. But it was not made with the right intentions that you're doing it for the mitzvah of l'shma. That you can't use by the Seder night, right? You agree with that? You can't use that because it wasn't made l'shma. Shmartem es matzahs. You have to watch the matzahs l'shma. So now the question would be: are you allowed to eat those matzahs, those chametz stika matzahs, or they're not mamish chametz, they're not chametz, but they're not l'shma? Could you eat those in the 10th hour?
No, but it's matzah.
What?
Matzah.
Oh, it's matzah. So you're saying?
You gotta use it for the Seder.
Regardless, so it's still matzah.
So what? You can't use it for the Seder.
But the Seder is a chumrah.
No, it's not. That's
No,
it.
no.
You don't have lishma, you're not going to the Seder.
So, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's still matzah.
So the question here is, so here we have a
Could you, but you
marsha.
haven't used
Here we have a machlokas going on, and this
Just
is
because I can't use it for the Seder doesn't entitle to say, okay, fine, you can eat it.
Maybe.
Why?
Let
So,
us see.
what you're thinking about?
Listen, what happens if you go ahead and take things, and you specifically have in mind, I'm making this matzah to eat Erev Pesach.
You can't have matzah the whole day.
No.
What kind of matzah?
You can't have matzah. It's
What
matzah
kind of
regardless.
matzah?
No.
No.
If you take-
The only matzah you can have is the matzah that you can be to the mitzvah with.
Let's go back to Rabbi Levi. Hold on a second. So let's remember what you're saying is very, very deep. This is the Maharsha. No, I'm not joking here. You were machavin to the Maharsha. These two sides is what was going through the Maharsha's mind a few years ago. These two sides. What is this din? Rabbi Levi, let's go back to the Shalom. Rabbi Levi said, anyone who eats matzah on Erev Pesach is keboyel arusasai. It's like he grabbed his arusa early. Now the question is, what does that mean? So therefore, Rabbi Levi said you can't eat matzah on Erev Pesach.
Right.
What did he mean? So did he mean that you can't eat the matzah that you're going to use by the Seder? So on one hand, Dr. Spiegel says that the Maharsha is thinking that, well, you can't eat the matzah that you're going to use by the Seder. So if it's not Lishma, if it's just a box of Manischewitz matzahs from a whole year round, you can't eat that by the Seder for your mitzvah of Achilas matzah. So if you can't eat that anyway, so then that's not the boil arusasa, that's not the matzah of mitzvah, so then you could eat that maybe earlier because that's not your matzah's mitzvah.
Under no conditions could you use that matzah the Seder?
Maybe if one is stuck, maybe if he doesn't have any matzah, he could ask his rabbi. It could be it would qualify for, maybe it would qualify for matzah. But let's take on, we're taking on lishma, shalom lishma. No, if it's not lishma, you can't. Not lishma. If it's not lishma, you can't use that for the Seder.
If it's kosher matzah,
It's kosher, but it's not
but
lishma.
you're in a situation where there's no other matzah around, you should have your Seder without matzah
You would have
rather
to
than use that.
You would have, okay.
Can you make a bracha on it?
You'd have to ask your rabbi if you could make a bracha on such a thing. But if it's not lishma, shmar tebes matzahs, you should watch the matzahs. We learn out. You have to watch them.
You can probably make a moitzi.
You can make a
you can make a malach.
Right. Okay, good. So Dr. Spiegel says, if it has to be the matzah that you could do your mitzvah with that night, you're like grabbing the mitzvah early. Right, that's the idea. Boiler is like he grabbed the mitzvah early, so it has to be a matzah that you could do your mitzvah with that night. So if it's matzah that's not lishma, or if it's matzah ashira, the rich matzah, which you're not going to use for achilas matzah, so that is forbidden. That's not forbidden in the afternoon, because that would go under the classification of what he calls grabbing the mitzvah early. Tosfos' words, right? On the other hand, that's one side. On the other hand, what is his name again? Chaim. Chaim wants to say no, that's not pshat, because on the other hand, maybe this maybe is forbidden because this is matzah. This is matzah. Says Chaim and the Maharsha. Matzah is matzah. You don't want to have the taste of matzah in your mouth and have that. It's exact same taste. If you close your eyes and someone would give you this matzah or that matzah, you could never tell him if it was the shvura matzah or if it's the non-shvura matzah, unless you're
matzah or
the non-lishma matzah.
But it's two different reasons.
So maybe that's right. That's right. Yeah. So I'm saying maybe Chaim's saying that maybe the answer is you can't eat matzah, which is the type of food which you're going to have by the Seder. That's going to be your achilas matzah. So you shouldn't grab that idea, grab that type of ingredients and eat it early. You should wait, take it easy, and wait till the time of the
That's why he's talking about matzah shir, not matzah shalai l'shma.
So Chaim wants to bring a raya. Dr. Spiegel is saying he's helping out his opponent. He's helping out Chaim. He says, I'll even bring you a proof. I'll even bring you a proof that you're not allowed to eat this type of matzah. This not lishma matzah, this manischewitz matzah. The proof is because Tosfos only said that you're allowed to eat one thing.
Matzah shir.
Right before mincha. You're allowed to eat matzah shira. Says Chaim with Dr. Spiegel on that side that no, only matzah shira are you allowed to eat, but a matzah from Manischewitz from all year round, that you cannot eat that, because that's the same type of food which you're going to eat. Where that's the boiler says you're taking the same food early. You can't wait a few minutes. You should wait to have the taste in your mouth, the right taste. Wait till it's then at night. You don't want to jump the gun and eat it early. So I wanted to show you inside, just so you know that I'm not making anything up here. But Chaim and Dr. Spiegel are saying a Maharsha. Look down at number 7, and here you'll see the Maharsha clearly stating this. Taisus Divrei, you see number 7, the right-hand side, halfway down. So here he says it's Maharsha on this Tosfos. Taisus Maskal Lo Yochel V'Chulu V'Hu Adin Demati Lo'Okma B'Beteka Shel Goyim. At first the Maharsha said maybe what Tosfos meant, maybe he meant to say that you could eat matzah shira. He said maybe Hu Adin. Maybe the same thing will be true that you could also eat b'teika shel goyim. Maybe you could eat these matzahs that the goyim make, which they don't have in mind l'shma. That was one side. That was Dr. Spiegel's side. But on the other side, then Maharsha had a doubt, which Chaim brings in. V'yesh l'chalik. He said maybe you could differentiate and say that no, Matzah Shira is the only thing you're allowed to eat Erev Pesach. Because Matzah Shira lav tam matzah's mitzvah. Who? These are Chaim's words. The Matzah Shira doesn't taste like matzah. Vishari, that's why it's okay. A matzah which is not lishma, a matzah from a goy made it, he can't have in mind that he's doing it lishma. So that's such a matzah. That is tam matzah. That has the same taste of matzah. That will be like jumping the gun. Kebayal arusasai. He took his arusa early, and maybe that will still be forbidden. Tosos was exact when he said his words. Right? Look at Tosos' words. Tosos only spoke out that you're allowed to eat matzah shiro. So this was the Maharshal's question. On the other hand, I'll help out Dr. Spiegel. On the other hand, Tosos did say, Tosos in his words were, let's read it again, 4 lines on the bottom, V'yesh Lomar, right, number 5 on the top left-hand corner, 4 lines on the bottom, V'yesh Lomar da'ari b'matzah shira deloy aser, b'yushalmi ela matzah haru, yalatzis b'choy vasai. The words were that the only problem of the Yushalmi was only matzah that you're fit to be yotzei your choyv, that you could fulfill your obligation, and you're eating the matzah that you could do for that night. You're eating that early. Maybe that's what's forbidden. But on the other hand, Tosfos, for those words that you're eating a matzah that you could fulfill your obligation with that night, Dr. Spiegel is medayik. But let's say you would take a matzah from where Manischewitz made it or someone did shalashma, that would seem that you could eat that early. So there are contradictory implications in this Tosfos, which is not so clear. So Maharsha therefore has these 2 sides. That seems to be what his 2 sides were. So I'll tell you that it seems that we could break it down. We have to think about what exactly is the root of the Yerushalmi. What is the Yerushalmi coming to say? The Yerushalmi says you can't eat the matzah early. What did the Yerushalmi mean? What was the reason the Yerushalmi? Is the Yerushalmi saying that maybe you should make a difference between doing the actual mitzvah? You should wait till you have the actual time of the mitzvah. You shouldn't eat matzah of the mitzvah early. Or maybe the Yerushalmi is saying that you should have a te'avon, right? You should have an enjoyable eating of the matzah, right? The truth is, I want to give away the secret. This is the secret. How do you have an enjoyable matzah? How do you get the perfect matzah? How do you have hiddur mitzvah on matzah? Right? We have hiddur mitzvah on esrik. You have hiddur mitzvah on a lulav. Everyone knows you search for the perfect esrik, perfect lulav. Sefer Torah, you search for a Sefer Torah that's written very straight, neat. So how do you have the perfect matzah? So on this, it seems a new din called hiddur mitzvah on matzah. How is that? So Rashi brings down, what does it mean here? Rashi says here, what does it mean, lo yochel? You shouldn't eat. So look at the Korban Eidah. He's very clear also. He's pretty clear. Right in the right-hand corner. The second paragraph, Perish Korban Ha'eidah. Right, 6 lines down, 7 lines down. He said, lo yochel adam, kidei sheyochel matzah l'teyavon. Which is also Rashi. Rashi in Pesachim says, I'll read you Rashi in Pesachim. Rashi adds in 2 more words. Rashi says you shouldn't eat anything in order that you should eat the matzah l'teyavon. You should have a desire for the matzah. And Rashi adds in 2 words, hiddur mitzvah. Hiddur mitzvah. So Rashi says there's a new way how to make hiddur mitzvah. It's not only buying a beautiful matzah, not only that it should be crispy and crunchy and very not too thick. That's true too. You should enjoy the matzah. It should be thin. If you could get a thin one, that's good. But the key ingredient is that it should be that you yourself should have an appetite for it, and you shouldn't eat these things that we're trying to discover. What these ingredients are that you shouldn't eat. You shouldn't eat them Erev Pesach. In order that you should eat it, l'teyavon, you should have a desire for that matzah. That will make your matzah hiddur mitzvah. Rashi saying there's a new way to do hiddur mitzvah by the person himself having a desire for the matzah. So that makes it the most perfect matzah because you're enjoying that matzah. That's hiddur mitzvah. It's a new idea how to do hiddur mitzvah. Very cheap way. You don't eat anything much. So this could be an idea of what the Yerushalmi is saying. Yerushalmi is saying that maybe you shouldn't eat the matzah that you're going to eat. That matzah, you shouldn't eat that a whole day. Such a matzah, because you want to have a taste. Not only should you not fill yourself up, you for sure shouldn't fill yourself up on big foods. but maybe there's a new idea. You shouldn't have the matzah. You shouldn't eat that type of food because you're not going to have a desire for the matzah, right? That's why people are careful not to eat the matzah. So even if it would be, this is Dr. Spiegel's side, maybe the Yerushalmi is saying you shouldn't have any type of matzah. Even a matzah which is not lishma, you shouldn't eat Erev Pesach, because then when it comes time for the Seder, you'll be ready, you'll have the old taste already. You're bored of it. It's like old hat, That's not it should have the excitement. See, Yerushalmi could be saying, Dr. Spiegel saying, Yerushalmi is saying.
He's saying, no.
Chaim. Chaim is saying, no, so I'm saying even a regular, not lishma matzah. That's Chaim?
That was his
Chaim.
Yeah.
Chaim, I have to give you credit. Give you credit where credit's due. Michael? So Michael and Chaim are saying that you shouldn't eat any type of matzah, even Manischewitz matzah, early Friday morning, because if you eat that matzah, you're not gonna have any excitement. The matzah, when you take it in your hand, it should be exciting. It should be new. It should be, you're looking forward with anticipation to the mitzvah. But if you just ate Manischewitz matzah in the morning, so you're gonna be okay. Some more matzah. Okay, I have it every shal shudas, matzah and egg salad. So that shouldn't be. So therefore, that could be what the Yerushalmi is saying. Says Chaim. The Yerushalmi is saying, don't even touch matzah, any type of matzah, the whole morning.
But that's not the argument of Rabbi.
That could be Rabbi Levi. Yeah, Chaim.
No, it isn't.
Why?
No, his argument. It's a different argument. One argument is you can't resist.
You can't
desire.
Resist. Wait.
Right?
Can't you wait till you eat?
That's one view. Yeah. The second view is, no, when you eat the matzah, you should have a fresh taste in your mouth.
That could be what Rabbi Levi saying.
Bored by it.
So that could be also what Chaim says. That's what Rabbi Levi means. Chaim says Rabbi Levi means you should have the fresh taste. You can't wait till tonight to have that taste of matzah. You have to have a little matzah in the morning. Wait a few minutes. Wait till the night, and you'll have the fresh taste. It's like you grabbed your arusa early. You're not going to have the fresh taste. It's not going to be exciting if you have it in the morning. You were Baal Arusa, say he took his Arusa early.
Or any girl.
Or anyone. Anyone, is that right? There's a special, Arusa could be, she's forbidden, it's a special level. Okay, Mayim Genuvim Yom Taku, maybe some stolen waters are sweeter. The more, the Gemara says that stolen waters are more sweet than sweet water, than regular waters. The Gemara says a special din, and therefore the Gemara goes into this idea. Okay.
It says here, Sommer for Mincha. Which Mincha are we talking about? First opportunity to daven Mincha? Because if we say Sommer for Mincha, which is the last opportunity, then the whole thing is not for naught.
It means the 10th hour. It means the 10th hour of the day when.
Only because if it's not that, you shouldn't eat anything until it's the last possible time.
No.
It makes more sense because then we can say why? Because you want to make sure that you have an appetite. Because if you start eating then people just want to have appetite at all whatsoever.
Right.
For the meal, either Seder or the entire meal.
Right. No, you have to be very careful a whole day and in specifics from this 10th hour and on. That's the.
It means from the end of the 9th hour onward.
The end of the 9th hour is what the Mishnah is talking about. So these are the two sides. What did Yerushalmi mean? Those are the two sides. Chaim says it means don't have the taste of matzah. Don't any type of matzah. You want to have a fresh taste. It's like you grabbed arusa early. Dr. Spiegel's saying no. It means the mitzvah. You should wait to eat the matzah's mitzvah. Can't you wait a few minutes? Make a differentiation between when you're going to eat the real matzah's mitzvah and don't eat that same exact matzah which you could do your mitzvah. Make a hecker. Make a differentiation. Now, I just want to. The Maharshal leaves off as a question. He doesn't solve this answer. And I want to just tell you that not only that, the Rambam argues in total with Tosfos. The Rambam in the Pirush Mishnayos LaRambam, I didn't copy the Pirush Mishnayos here, but I just want to tell you the Rambam learns that what the Mishnah is coming to say is a whole different thing. Let me read to you just these 5 words here. He says, Roy, listen to the Rambam, Roy lehariv, from the word Ra'av. Ra'av means hunger. It says it's fitting for a person, I didn't copy this down, I'll just read it by heart. It's fitting for a person to starve himself. Don't take it the wrong way, I don't mean starve, but you should make yourself be hungry. Ra'av. And you should eat the matzah with an enjoyment. And this is what they said, you should hold back from that eating. It does not mean that you should just hold yourself back from eating bread. Because he said you can't eat bread anyway at that time. And he means to say, from the fact that he doesn't make any differentiation what type of bread, he seems to say you can't eat any bread. Any bread at all. He says, Asar lanu lechol matzah. Yoim arba asar. You can't eat bread. Any type of matzah, any matzah, a whole day, yom arba asar, until you eat it that night. Avol, what he's saying is, Manu, he's saying that you should hold back from lechol harbe mishar hamacholim. The Rambam seems to learn that the Mishnah is saying you shouldn't eat other foods. You shouldn't eat, like Avi was saying, you shouldn't eat fruits and vegetables and different things which wouldn't fit into the category of matzah or any other matzah shira. So the Rambam's saying a different shot in the Mishnah, right? Look back at the Mishnah. He's saying he shouldn't eat even a lot of fruits. Maybe if you have to eat a little bit, you shouldn't. Okay, a little bit you could eat, but it's fitting that the Mishnah is saying that you shouldn't eat different types of foods which you would be able to eat, right? Lechem, chametz, matzah, that's all out of the picture. The Rambam learns you can't eat chametz you can't eat after the 12th hour. You can't eat matzah, because the Rambam seems to learn, like Chaim, that the Rambam held of that side of the Marsha, that you can't eat even matzah. The Rambam even went further. You can't eat for sure matzah that you didn't have in mind. Right. So the Rambam said you can't even eat matzah shira, because matzah shira will have the taste of matzah.
He doesn't say it out loud though.
He doesn't say it so clear. He says any lechem. He says, but you should even the other types of foods, which means he's like switching to other foods. So the Rambam seems to say you shouldn't even eat fruits.
Yeah, but the Rambam Shitase holds that matzah shir is a messiahs. I mean,
okay, so we'll have to see on Hilchos Brachos. But what the Rambam learns the Mishnah is that the Mishnah is coming to say is you should hold back from eating a lot of fruits, because the idea is that you should be hungry and have an appetite for the meal.
Okay. So Shabbos were to start on Motzi, if Pesach was on Motzi Shabbos, how does he hold?
So this comes out the big problem, which you're going to have to be careful for about Shal Shudas. The first day, right? This is applicable, by the way, also for Shabbos day. Shabbos day, you shouldn't eat any matzah a whole afternoon. From the afternoon. You should not, after the 10th hour, you should not be eating matzah shira, a regular matzah for sure, because that will take away the appetite of the second night, because we do two Sederim, so we want to have an appetite for the second Seder also.
Yeah, but we already have the taste of matzah in our mouth from the first Seder.
But at least it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, but the second Seder has the same dinner as the first night?
Okay.
The same.
But at least in the afternoon, for the 10th hour and on, a person should be very careful. We have to look up exactly the halacha, but you should be careful for the 10th hour on not to have any matzah from that day. So you'll have to eat early Shal Shudas, right? You'll have to do a lot of people are going to daven mincha early and have a Shal Shudas early on, 1, 2.
That's what we have upstairs. We have mincha 2:30 Shabbos afternoon.
Right. That's why there'll be a mincha here, 2:30. That way you can eat mincha. You can eat. You'll daven first. You'll eat after.
According to calculation, you shouldn't eat. You should finish your Shal Shudas before 4:36.
What's that 4:36? That's the 10th hour. 4:36 is the 10th hour. So you daven mincha 2:30 Shabbos afternoon. Eat Shal Shudas then you're not having matzah after the 10th hour. After 4:30 you don't have any matzah, so you'll be hungry. You should eat.
But you're still going to have a problem with little subset based chama.
Right, but it seems like you have no choice on that, because you'll have to have matzah.
But when we have Erev Pesach falls out on Shabbos.
So what do you do on Erev Pesach? This is the big question. Yeah. If Erev Pesach will fall on Shabbos, so this is going to be a big question. What do you have for your meal in the morning? So that's why. What do people do on Erev Pesach that falls on Shabbos?
You eat your bread.
They daven.
Shabbos very early, and you have your Shudas early by 10 o'clock.
They daven Shabbos very early, and not only do they daven Shabbos early, and they eat their first meal early, but they have to have their Shal Shudas early.
And they have to eat a second Shal Shudas after this one also. No problem before Chatzos, after Chatzos.
If you want to do Shal Shudas after Chatzos, then they'll have something after. They'll have some fruits after Chatzos. But in terms of the actual matzah, that's why Erev Pesach that falls down Shabbos will be a little complicated. But this is the framework and the guidelines. But at least we have the Yisodos. These are the foundations how you can now attack any day. Right here we're attacking each day. We're attacking the second day. If we're attacking Shabbos that comes out on Erev Pesach, what do you do? Now we know the guidelines. We know this Yerushalmi and we know the Shulchan Aruch. This is the guidelines of what you should do, how you plan it out. And I'll just tell you that the Shulchan Aruch rules in accordance with both views. He says, I didn't copy it, but the Shulchan Aruch says, also lecho pas misha asiris olamala. You shouldn't eat any pas, any bread. You should eat the matzah te'oven. So he doesn't go into the detail on that, but he does say, he says l'Rambam also, he says, you should eat a few fruits. A few fruits. You shouldn't eat too much, because the idea is you should have a good appetite for the meal.
So we have the problem until 2021.
Yeah.
That's next time Erev Pesach.
Oh, Erev Pesach. So then we'll give the strict guidelines for that. Okay.
What about Matzah Shira B'zman Zeh Ashkenazim on the Erev Pesach?
If it's real.
Are you allowed to eat it or not?
If matzah, well, what's the two sides?
We don't eat matzah shira. Ashkenazim don't touch matzah shira on Pesach.
On Pesach.
For the whole of Pesach.
The whole Pesach. So we hold the whole shayla chashash with May Paris.
But Chaim is saying you have to be careful because the mashcha, not it's Chaim, but the mashcha.
I'm saying
because you have the taste.
Because I'm saying we might have a bigger problem. We have a much bigger problem. And that is, since we hold that matzah shira is a chashash of chametz, maybe you can't eat it after the 6th hour anyway.
Yeah, if it's a chashash chametz, then we're going to even hold back early. We're going to have to look up exactly how we rule it. That it's not so clear if someone who's sick. Okay,
yeah.
Very good. We should have an enjoyable matzah.